Hello again, and thank you for watching, taking the time. I am Bryan still, and this is Brad here still. We had a minor technical difficulty. I'm not sure. Maybe we need to pay our editor some more or something.
I forgot. I forgot to hit the go live. That's what that was. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, no worries. So anybody that's got to see that special,
No, nobody saw anything.
This is totally live, and we do mess up sometimes.
We try to periodically, just so that you know we're human.
Yeah, I mean it's screw it. Yeah. You guys don't care if we mess up, so that's cool, and that's one of the coolest things about everybody. So, well, this week we have some exciting stuff. Start off with the news in the watch world. We've got a couple Kickstarters wrapping up, and the Valhalla of Norway axe, I know, is pretty close to being that Kickstarter is pretty close to being done. I think it's almost funded. So if you haven't gotten a chance to hop on over there, check that out. There is a new one, and obviously it's kind of been given away. The KAAL the Multiverse is going to be finishing up on Kickstarter in a little bit too, and that's really cool watch as well. Think of any other?
Well, we've actually got a special offer for our listeners / viewers. So yeah, KAAL's got the Multiverse watch. It's funded on Kickstarter right now, but we've got a direct link to the website. As you can see right there, you can buy this watch because you're a listener or a viewer for $20 less than the Kickstarter price. Maybe it's $19. It's $380 instead of $400 or $399 a dollar or whatever, right? So because you guys are awesome and we're awesome, and you listen to us or watch us, you can get a discount by going to kaalwatch.com/eStore and purchase the Multiverse watch at a discount, cheaper than Kickstarter. So you're welcome. That's what we got to offer you today.
Yeah, we try to give back when we can. So
and we both. Sorry, man. We both got this watch to review, which is super cool. It's super awesome. And I really think we're the only two, dare I say, idiots to do a review of a watch live at the same, we both have the same watch. So that's kind of unique too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, but yeah, and whether, it's not going to be a disaster. We've already tried that, and
we've already done it.
Somehow it came out all right anyway. So, it's one of those things. It just, roll with it, And so today, I guess we will, do a little bit of news. Your watch shipped out and is on people's wrists.
Yeah, man. Everybody but the international people have got their watches, and I checked tracking. And it looks like customs holding up the UK and France. I got one. I didn't check Italy, but I'm assuming it's the same thing, especially with Europe being hit a little harder right now. Yeah. So pretty soon everybody in Europe will have their Raiders, and everybody on the US side has their watch already, as you can tell by a number of posts and photos that have been shared around, which I'm very pleased. This watch came out great, and I'm very pleased with that. There's a handful of pieces left on each dial color, so price isn't going to go down. I don't do sales. The best deal you're going to get is pre-order, so price isn't going to get any cheaper. But what I am doing now till Veterans Day, which is about 13 days, 12 days left, is every purchase of a Raider watch, $20 goes to Special Operations Warrior Foundation. That's how I'm going to do my sales post-production, just because I want to help out some veteran groups. So that's how it's going to be with the Raider.
That's really cool. I mean, there's definitely a lot of people in the world that need some help right now, and it's always nice to hear different brand owners, things like that, that are, willing to go the extra mile. And I'm sure we're going to be doing some more, try to throw in a giveaway or something one of these days for, one of our 2 viewers or whatever, however many it is live. Maybe get some people in on the show if we're really low on content, and we can just talk about watches, have good times, whatever. Not to be boring, for real, guys. And guys and gals, check on each other. Holler to your friends in the community. There's no easy way to say, but quarantine sucks. That's it. So check on your friends, check on people that you talk to, and we're going to get through it. We have to. That's just what we do. But so until then, we're going to be here to try to
entertain and lighten the load.
Be your jester, be your entertainer. During this, and we are going to get through it. So, but yeah, that's kind of my little PSA is just check on some people. Make sure if you notice somebody's been quiet for a while, shoot them a message. That's usually all it is, and they might be like, "Well, I don't know, man. I was actually on vacation, or whatever." Hopefully, so and.
Right.
But
bring the mood. So here's a fun little purchase that I made over the last week. It's a watch book, retro watches.
Very cool.
Excuse me. It's not what I thought it'd be, but it's quite interesting. So there's a lot of interesting timepieces on there. So if you're looking for something, I think I got it on Amazon for like $17 or something like that. It's something interesting to kind of look through the past, but what we need to get onto this watch review, huh?
Do we?
Yeah.
I think Alvin said something. Yeah, we were supposed to be reviewing a watch today. I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
Oh, let's do a wrist check. We need to do a wrist check.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start by with the completion of the Mitchell Raider, and getting out to everybody. Sorry about you guys in Europe. It's on its way. But I'm just going to show the versatility. You've seen me wear this before. I've had the prototype, but I actually was messing around. I just threw it on a kind of a steel band. It's nothing fancy. That's how it comes from the factory with the other strap. But I threw it on a steel band to try to play with that. I tried to mesh one that was a little bit too loose, but it really, I thought it kind of flattened it out on my wrist, and I mean it's not real showy. It kind of turns a little more field watchish actually. So it just kind of goes to show the kind of how diverse it really can be. And so who knows, next time I have it on, I might have it on something else. So. All right, sir. Well,
I'm wearing the the Sun.
The Sun.
They do have proper names.
The Soul.
What comes in? Yeah, the Soul. They come in the Sun, the Moon, and the Earth, or the Soul.
Soul. Artemis is the moon, and Gaia?
I was going to say Gia.
That sounds better, but I don't know which one's really correct.
I think it's Gia because of Geo, the globe, which is Earth.
Now, this watch is almost impossible if you have any lighting at all to see.
You're gonna bang up some glare, yeah.
Yeah, it's super glary because you can see it has a massive sapphire on there, and this is the factory strap.
Yeah.
And it fits on my wrist. So
that's like 2 out of however many we've done. All right, let's hit the quick specs on this guy. We got a Seiko NH35 movement, 42 millimeter case. Now, the thickness, I don't want the thickness to scare people off on this watch. It's 19 millimeters thick, but look at the look at the doming. Like that's just this middle part. So it's not. It doesn't wear like a brick by any means at all.
No.
Lug to lug is 47. The lug width's 22. Of course, you have that super dome, that super double dome sapphire has an AR coating. It's water resistance to 30 meters or 3 atmospheres, whatever your pleasure is there. 316L steel.
Yeah.
Now, if it's really hard to photograph, but if you have this watch, you look at the dial. It's moonstone or Averline underneath that hour disc. And that's super cool because it's like sparkly. It looks like stars. So keep that in mind. I love those dials. There's not a lot out there. Like Omega did one with their Speedy. It was like a $10,000 Speedy or something like that. The strap is Horween leather, and it is so soft, so supple, and it's just great. I love those straps.
They are nice, and they said that they actually had, watches aren't just for guys. We had Crystal watching the show for a little bit. I happen to know Crystal. She's my sister-in-law. Crystal is not a guy, but and they had females actually on their design team. So when you look at this, you're going to see a whole lot of adjustment. So you're talking about my big old paw is somewhere around here versus some smaller wrists that might be more up here.
I'm almost exactly in the middle.
And yeah, so it was built to be basically, to fit anyone. It's it's so cool. The loom on this is amazing.
Yeah, C3.
Yeah,
super loom.
Yeah, C3 loom.
Right. And we posted a couple pictures on from taking the time earlier this week. But it's like, what's cool about it? Did you notice how it like illuminated the dome, the disc? The Earth, the moon, or whichever one you have.
Yeah, the celestial body.
The sun had like this radiating glow from it. It was really cool.
Yeah, even in my terrible picture that I took, because I always have really low light in my house, everything, which is great for loom shots. So that was one of the best pictures that I took. The rest of them all had reflections and everything else. And so, yeah, it was just, and I'm actually trying to charge it a little bit. And I just, once again, I can't get over that that really cool stone that actually sits behind the hour disc. And it just it reminds you of looking up into a
starry sky.
Yeah, into a starry sky, up into space, and just.
It's almost like if Van Gogh made a watch today. This is what it looked like.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's very. There's nothing extremely conventional about this at all.
Yeah,
it is. They totally decided to break the mold on this watch. When you look at, the hours, or your hours are always going to be around the 12 o'clock position. So for me, I'm on the East Coast, so it's a little bit after 8. Then you're going to start looking for
5 o'clock for me.
Which in my case should be
right around the 20. It's really hard to see. That's going to be tricky to see.
Yeah, it is. There you can see it right below the 5. Yeah, around the. It's about
what you're hitting on is the one. There were. I probably had 3 concerns with this watch. Am I gonna figure out how to read it? And once the watch was in my hands, I'm like, oh, this is super simple. It's like you look at 12 o'clock and that's your hour. You find the North Star for the minutes, which, by the way, in production is going to be a little bit bigger, right?
Yeah, it's let's see. Right now on these, um,
Like
these are around these are a little over 3.25 millimeter, and they're going to beef them up to 5 millimeter. So that's a nice little jump. I mean, so especially when it's around the 14, 15, 16 minute mark, because of that bridge, it can interfere a little bit. The KAAL has addressed this. They are aware. Really, this watch's party piece is when it's totally fired up and ready to glow at night, and it's the best way to understand how it works. Everything is legible when in daylight. Let's see.
Aside from a full lume dial, this has the strongest lume I think I've seen on a watch that isn't a full lume dial.
Oh, definitely. And it has, because I think part of that is because they have it's a BGW9 full lume chapter ring, which is quite sizable. And that gives it, I know we've tried to do this on the show, and that's why we're not, because every time we do it, it sucks and it never comes out right. The second hand is also, it's kind of like a little floating dot. And it's not that it's an afterthought. It's that, they're gonna bump it up, from 1.4 millimeters to 1.8 millimeters and things like that. The color on the moon is going to be more gray. I don't know. Like I said, if you can kind of see this,
it's going to be a little more orange.
Yeah, if you see this is a bit more bluish. Yeah, some people have thought that the sun was Mars, and so basically they've taken. Go ahead.
This is so well thought out, but then they've clearly took some feedback on the real samples, like, okay, we need to make a couple of minor adjustments. But there's like, if this watch wasn't done correctly, it'd be terrible. But it's the coolest watch I've put my hands on in quite some time. I just think it's really cool, and it's different. I mean, if you saw that on somebody's wrist as a watch person, you're gonna be like, I need to know what that is, because it's so unique. But it's well done. I was just impressed. I'm like, this is really cool. I wanted to review it because I wanted to see it and kind of get that impression of, was this just knocked out of the park, or is it kind of like, and they knocked it out of the park, in my opinion.
They really did. And I know I said, because we don't normally do this because it's almost always an epic failure, but I'm really going to try to charge the lume. And so maybe people can get a little bit better of an idea.
Well, we got the picture posted on our Taking the Time on Facebook. So I think that is.
Yeah, I mean it, but I mean it's just that is it, and it is. It's almost like when you see a prototype car or something, that you've just never seen before, because I've never seen a watch like this before, and I'm with Brad. I was like, I wonder how long it's going to take me to learn how to read this watch. And
10 seconds.
The honest answer for me to get used to it was about less than an hour. There was literally a minute or two where I was kind of had to look for the minute hand. It kind of ran away. Big kind of this bridge that not only holds up whichever celestial body, but it also kind of looks like it may be a piece of a satellite dish or something. I mean, everything it's really inspired to reach for the stars.
Hey, Robert.
Hey.
Yeah. It's what did it for me is when I set the watch, I just I saw how everything was flowing, and I'm like, all right, you know, I don't see, like, legibility is not going to be a problem.
No.
We both talked about it prior. Is the minute hand is a little bit small, and they've already addressed that. It's going to be bigger, and I believe it's going to be framed in red according to the picture. So it's going to have a little bit of color too. It'll be even easier to pick up. Excuse me. So it's going to be super super legible, but nobody else is going to have anything remotely like this on the wrist. That's the cool part. The moonstone dial disc underneath the hours. That's a super cool feature. When you get out in the sun, you can really see that thing sparkle, and it just looks like, space. It's
it does, and it's
got comets on the lugs.
it's
on
top of the lugs, and that is kind of funny because my wife has been getting more into watches and things in my attempt to charge the loom.
Got stars on the
feeble.
lug, where the spring bars would be.
Yeah, let me see if we can't try something here.
All right, here we go with our experimentations.
Yeah, that's
the loop. Oh yeah,
the star.
There's the star.
And
the stars are on all four corners where the spring bar holes will be, or where the spring bars are.
Yeah. Now this is also loomed, which you can't see because it's light in here. And then on the tops of the lugs, it looks like a comet, if you can kind of see that.
Yeah. And I've got good pictures I posted from our taking the time.
It'd be nice to go through a highlight reel. Well, it was interesting because I was talking to my wife about this watch when we first got it, and it's really cool. And we're checking it out, and she goes, I said, "Oh, there's stars on the lugs." And she said, "Well, I don't know if it's supposed to be a comet or what." Mind you, I'd had the watch for about 15 minutes, and we're looking at it. And I look at her, I go, "What are you looking at that you're seeing a comet?" Well, she was also looking on the lugs, but she was looking at the top of the lug here, and I was looking at the side of the lug where the star was, and we were both right. And I mean, she wore it. I mean, it fit her great. Everything, the finish is great. The loom is really amazing. Just the way it shines like a galaxy. So BGW9 chapter ring, which it kind of really gives it a bright glow, and then the numbers, like the actual numerals, glow in green. So I think is that C3 or
the rest of it C3, and then the chapter ring is BGW9.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever we say. Is it the biggest thing is we're trying to explain an emotion that this invokes, and it's very difficult to put into words. I think that's really where
Craig is asking what the retail. So it's on Kickstarter right now for $3.99, but that link right below me, you can get it for $3.80. I'm not sure what the retail is. Probably going to be $500 or more. That's one thing I should have paid attention to. I'm just thinking, what can you guys get it for right now?
Yeah, kind of a neat case.
And yeah, it's like an open heart on the case back, so you can see.
You see the rotor kind of comes around and everything. And I know, like I said, we've tried.
The hairspring is oscillating. You can see it through that window when the rotor's not in the way.
Yeah, and then it kind of goes out. It's just the whole thing. It's just so well.
Yeah, and it's 42. But you said your wife was wearing it, yeah?
Yeah, and I mean she has a small wrist, so
and the lug to lug's only 47. So I mean, that's a 7.25 wrist.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Like I said, it's thick, but it's only thick at one spot, and that's not a very big spot, so it doesn't wear like it's super thick at all.
No, it doesn't wear bulky. It's just it wears very comfortable, and that's an 8.5-inch wrist.
Yeah.
And I guarantee, even on my scariest looking day, people, somebody else see this and be like, "Dude, what is that? That looks that looks wild. What is that?" And be like, "Oh man, that's what it's this. It's a KAAL. That's And what is it? I mean, it's cool. And really, I mean, the three different dials, whether you pick the Earth style, the Moon style, or the Sun, everybody, it just seems like there's really something for everybody, because it's interesting, because I've asked around, people say, "Oh, well, this one's my favorite, or that one's my favorite."
Yeah.
But then they don't put down the other ones either. And I'll say, "Yeah, I really don't like this." They're like, "Well,
my favorite's the Moon, but I'd be okay with the Earth too."
my favorite is the
And
Earth,
cool
and I've only seen it in pictures, but I have the Moon here, and and it's good too. And we're not saying anything bad about the Sun. So, it's just, some people are going to be like, "Oh, well, what is that?" And
I mean,
so,
it's like, I mean, in a world where all we're seeing is another diver, another homage, this is like so outside the box. It's just cool. And I mean, that's, but it's done right, and that's the big kicker. But I mean, these guys are out of Singapore. When has Singapore not done a watch correctly? Like, I don't know of a micro brand that's terrible that's out of Singapore. It just hasn't happened.
I don't think they exist.
And this group this is not their first run at a watch either. These guys have experience in the watch industry, so it's not like this is their first run at it too. They're both there's three guys, I believe, that are in the industry already, that came together to create this very exceptionally unique piece.
Yeah, and it's really cool. I know the packaging is going to be a little bit different than what I got it in. I had a very different and unique watch. This has a compass and a little thermometer and stuff built in. I don't know. It was just my little area of play watch stuff that I have.
Yeah, the prototypes came in a little like this.
Yeah.
And we were talking to Alvin, and he's like, "That's just not good enough. We're upgrading the package so it's a bit more classy, a little bit more solid of a presentation." And I mean, I thought the box wasn't bad, but I can see where he's saying, "Okay, we're gonna make this better." And so that's the attention to detail that they're taking through this whole piece, from the dial, the legibility, the design, the details on the case, the softness of the strap. It's got a nice signed buckle. It's a nice slim tapered buckle. I mean, what can you think of a negative? What's one negative for this watch for you?
That's not going to be addressed in production.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess you could do the if you wanted to go with that crossbar in a little bit. I think Craig was wondering which one you just held up, Brad. But you have the Sun version, and yeah, that's really cool. And you can see that crossbar. I said, well, it might be less obtrusive if you did it in a some sort of a something clear, but and then it kind of detracts from whatever. But I mean, I guess that would be it. Thin out the crossbar, or I guess if that's a negative, just because. But they're addressing that by making the minute hand larger. So
right, yeah,
you're not gonna. But I mean, if I had to pick something,
that's your one thing.
Yeah,
and yeah, they're fixing the minute hand, so that's not going to be. So that's resolved. I mean, I guess like I guess the thickness of the case at that midpoint would be, but I mean I really don't. I like that's just being nitpicky because it tapers so well that it's just a narrow space that's like right in the center, like a
Yeah, and I
like
mean
a
it's kind of
skittle. It's like a skittle size that's 19 millimeters in that center part.
yeah, and I
So
mean I mean at 19 millimeters tall, it is going to be, you know, it's going to be a little bigger, but the way I think on the Earth one, it made the most sense because it almost seemed like the crystal was like the atmosphere, and so I think that was really cool. So there's nothing I can really say, and even the packaging. Seriously, it was this inside of a bag with a label strapped on it. This and I got this, and I was like,
the watch survived.
yeah, I was like, oh, please be in one piece if you're even in there now. Like, and I'll tell you what, as much as even Alvin and the guys that really designed it, they might not. This kept it safe. It's
And mine came from Singapore.
Yeah, and you got it before mine, which came from North Carolina, and I live in Georgia. So, yeah, we're not going to get into the postal system in the United States right now, but
all right. I mean, so did we miss anything on this watch? I mean,
if you are a stickler for not having a dead spot when you pull the crown, it does have that because it is an NH35 movement. There would normally be a date stop. So you will notice that. I'm just being upfront with you. There's almost no way to take that out of the movement without changing the movement, basically, which they've done such a great job. NH35 it's a solid movement. It's really good. I have plenty of watches with them. Seiko runs them all day long on.
I mean, it's you just gotta. I know people like, oh, an NH35, and I mean, if they were selling these for $1,000, it might even still be somewhat reasonable. But I mean, you can get it on the website that we have the link right there for $380. But let's I've seen other watches with NH35s that are 400, 500, and even a little bit higher than 500, but they're just divers, or they're you got to understand the engineering it took to create that dome, to create that bridge, to engineer that bridge, to hold that disc up. The hands are exceptionally unique. The second hand comes out, and then so like if this hand is the sun, it comes out and it curves around the celestial body so that it can rotate like that. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen on a second hand, except for a plane, and that's because I'm a pilot geek. So I mean, like the engineering that went into this is something to take into consideration. And then think about, you can get this watch for $380 on the website right there. I mean, come on. And it's going to be the most unique piece in your collection. I guarantee it. Like,
yeah, for sure. I could bring lug my whole collection in here of all kinds of different stuff. And even as much as I like weird and strange things that nobody has, this one blows them all out of the water. It does. There's not many other watches that are going to get that kind of wrist presence that people are going to say.
I have to get one because I work with kids, and the kids are going to love this. They'll be like, oh, you got the sun or the moon, whichever one. Probably going to be the moon, but I mean, it's just like, it's just so unique, and it's still, it's still very practical. It's easily legible considering all those things.
Yeah, and like we said, the loom shot is the loom is it's parting piece.
You guys, if you want to see the loom, you just check out Taking the Time on Facebook. I posted a bunch of pictures of this watch. The loom's fantastic. I mean, it's it's like a flashlight.
Yeah, and for any non-watch people that actually are watching or watching in the future, loom it's just basically the glow in the dark part, and the NH35 is an automatic movement. It means it doesn't take batteries. It's it's you're going to hear us say things, and if you hear it really, no matter when you watch or listen to it, put a comment and say, you guys were talking about this. What's the big deal with loom, or what is the and
yeah, just let us know. Yeah,
I mean, one of us will definitely
too.
Yeah, and that's something we're really trying to work on is getting more comments in even after the fact. You can comment if you watch this next week. If you don't like whatever we have, you can go back to this episode and watch this instead. That's fine. And what's that?
I was going to say, we do have a watch strap that we're going to be reviewing pretty soon.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Hey, I think we need to wrap this up.
Yeah,
we passed the 35 mark. So
yeah, it does. It invokes so much emotion. Well,
you're a big what's the word?
Space
astrology.
Astronomy.
Astrology. My bad. I know the difference between those two.
Yeah, I'm a Virgo. I like long walks on the beach and oversharing with our viewers. So yeah.
And that's one of your hobbies, so it makes sense that you like it. That's not necessarily a hobby of mine, but this is just such a unique piece. It's. I mean, really, if you're on the fence, just get it, because once you see it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, this is so much cooler than I thought it was gonna be."
Yeah,
that's no joke. I unboxed it and I'm just like, "Wow, this is super cool." So, but yeah, we're just kind of rehashing what we've already said. So,
I mean,
so here's the deal.
Here's the deal. It is that cool.
It really is.
That's why, I think that's why we're kind of blah, 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 because it's like a boat that won't start, and it's trying to put the emotion and all of the art that is in this watch, because it feels it has a soul, and it
no pun intended.
Yeah. It's not a shoe, but yeah. And it's really, I mean, it's just really cool. And so everybody's going to interpret it differently.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think for sure it's going to be one of your favorites. Whomever buys one, I really think it's going to be one of your favorites in your collection. Once again, kind of like the Raider, you can dress it up, dress it down, change the strap, do what you want with it, make it yours, enjoy it, have a blast. So.
Yeah. All right, guys, if you want one, go to this link right here for a $20 discount for Taking the Time viewers and listeners. For you audio guys, that's https://callwatch.com/e-store/ and that'll get you a $20 discount buying directly from the website. The Kickstarter is already funded, and I think the watches are already in production.
I think so, yeah. So it shouldn't maybe out before your whatever winter holiday you want to celebrate. So
it's deliveries in February.
Is it February? It's after, yeah. So it'll be colder for us in the northern hemisphere, but it will be within the next couple months. We've kind of been in COVID land for so long. Days, it's like you wake up and you'll be really happy the day you wake up and this is sitting in a box on your front door, and it's because really you're going to geek out and you're going to feel like a kid again. Yeah. And it's not because it's childish, it's because it's so cool.
Yep, exactly. All right, guys, make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Facebook, Taking the Time, and on YouTube we are the Veterans Watch Collector channel. God, that's a mouthful. comments, show us some love, show us some hate, just show us something.
Yeah.
That's all for me.
All right, guys. Until next time, have a great one.